Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. In this video, we will look into our sixth apex trigger scenario. Before diving into this topic, I have created a dedicated video on apex triggers using a PUBG example. It's a fun and engaging way to understand triggers, context variables, events, and when to use them. I highly recommend watching that video first to build a solid foundation before proceeding with this one. You can find the link in the description or in the iCards. Scenario 6. If an account has more than 5 contacts, prevent the creation of new contacts by displaying an error message. You can pause the video and guess on what object do we need to create a trigger on. If you guessed it as contact, you're right. Whenever we try to insert a contact, check if a contact has account ID linked. If yes, check the length of contacts linked to that account, and if the contact length exceeds 5, in that case, throw a validation. Let's create a trigger on contact object. Here, you can pause the video and guess what event should we use. If you guessed it before insert, then you are right. Before we insert the contact into the database, we should validate and throw a validation. For that reason, we will use before insert. Here I am using a condition so that this trigger only runs before it is inserted. Let's create a handler class so that we can invoke the class into our apex trigger. It's always a good practice to create handler class. Once that is done, invoke the handler class into our apex trigger. Here I am using trigger.newContext variable so that the list of contact IDs will be passed inside this method. Now let's iterate through the list of IDs. First, let's check if the contact that is being inserted has an account ID linked or not. If yes, store it in a collection variable. Now let's use aggregate result so that we can count the number of contacts linked to an account. Let's try to iterate this and store the account ID and its number of contacts inside a map. Before that, let's try to use a condition. If the set of account IDs are null, we should return nothing. Now let's iterate over contacts that are being inserted. Here, let's get the count of contacts by storing it in a variable. Before storing it, let's do a null check. If the store ID and number map contains account ID, in that case, for that particular account ID, we should be able to get the count of contacts, or else it will be 0. If the count of contact is greater than 5, then show an error, else update the map with the account ID and the count of contacts. We are done with the trigger. Now let's look this on the UI. Here, let's make a small modification. Let's make this if the get count is greater than or equal to 5. In that case, if it reaches 5, then it is going to give us an error. That's it for this video. If you found this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.